If you use hashtag Steelers in the comments, you can get on our next mailbag, but you have to be subscribed to the channel. Go down and subscribe. If you're a Steelers fan, I can promise you're in the right place. What's going on, Steelers fans? I'm Will Scott. You are watching Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, and on today's show, we're going to be getting into a mailbag. And since it's 4th of July weekend, and I hope you are all having a fantastic 4th of July weekend, one of the best weekends of the year, I have to ask you, what is the better grilling food? Is it hot dogs or is it burgers? Type H for hot dogs or type B for burgers. Man, you can't go wrong. Both are absolutely fantastic. It's like, who is the better QB, Terry Bradshaw or Big Ben? I mean, you cannot go wrong with this question. So go down in the comments, let me know. It's a slight lean for burgers for me, though. Very, very slight lean. I love hot dogs, too. Zach Ward, what's going on, man? You are our first question on this mailbag. He says, Joe Haden remains unsigned. Even if the Steelers should sign him for depth, it would be great. Thoughts? Hashtag pay Diontae. Appreciate you, Zach. Here is what the Steelers' CB depth chart currently looks like. So you do bring up signing Joe Haden, who apparently sold his Pittsburgh home, packed up, and moved out because he didn't think he was going to be re-signed. However, we're into July, and he's still out there to go get. Here's what he did last season. He allowed 3 touchdowns, an interception, 6 pass breakups. Now, he did miss some of the year, some injury issues, but he's still a pretty productive player. He's not in his prime anymore, obviously. He's not the Haden you saw earlier in his career when he was picked up after being let go by Cleveland, but he's still a very, very, very productive player and a leader on the defense. I wouldn't mind it if it's a cheap one-year deal. And at this point, that's probably what it would be. We're in July. He hasn't been signed. I don't know where his next opportunity might be, but I would do it if it's a cheap one-year deal. The fans love him. The organization love him. He's beloved in the locker room, and he's still a pretty productive player. I don't think he would be, necessarily the Haden we've seen in recent years. He'd be more of a role player maybe, kind of a rotational guy, but I'm all for bringing him back. What do you think is the biggest remaining need for the Steelers? Is it the defense, somewhere on the defense, maybe cornerback, or is it the offensive line, somewhere else on offense? It's the pinned comment on today's video. When ad break comes, go down, let me know what you think. What's the biggest remaining team need on Pittsburgh? Richard Adamson, what's going on? He says, do you think that the Steelers make an O-line move like left tackle or RB2 before the end of the preseason? I tend to lean left tackle, but they seem to have faith in Dan Moore Jr., the player out of Texas A&M heading into his second season, who was disappointing in his rookie season. But you can look at it one of two ways. One, you can say, well, he wasn't very good last year, let's move on. Or two, he's young, he's learning, he's getting better, let's give him another shot. Here's what the offensive line currently looks like. So you got Chooks on the right side, you got Dan Moore on the left side, Dotson, Cole, and Daniels. Obviously, when you're looking at offseason acquisitions, Cole and Daniels were really, really big pickups for Pittsburgh this year. You still have an opportunity, though, to improve the offensive line. It was really, really bad last season. I'm going to give you 2 names that they might go out and get. Eric Fisher, former number 1 overall pick. It's not often you have the opportunity to get a former number 1 overall pick in July. Fisher's been pretty good throughout his career, but he's coming off the worst season of his career. Last season with the Colts, gave up 7 sacks. Not good. Maybe a reason he remains unsigned. Better option might be Duane Brown, although he's a little bit older. He obviously has spent the last couple seasons in Seattle after a great run with the Houston Texans. I like Duane. This 8 sacks allowed is a little bit alarming last year. He's aging, and when March came around and free agency opened, I thought he would get picked up pretty quickly, and we're in July, and he hasn't been acquired yet, so I'm sure age concerns have something to do with that. Maybe he's looking for a multi-year deal, and teams just aren't willing to give it to him. But let's talk about the running back position, and there's some interesting names available there for Pittsburgh to go out and get. Here are free agent running backs still available. Probably most notably, Justin Jackson is still out there. You also have Jalen Richard, Peyton Barber, Wayne Gallman, and Corey Clement out there to go get in free agency. So some interesting names. If I had to pick one of those guys, I think I'd like to sign Justin Jackson, who is a decent RB2 with the Chargers. Now, name a free agent that you want to sign. Go down in the comments section. Let me know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if the Steelers go out and make another move before the start of training camp in a few weeks. Steelers made a great move in the draft, taking Kenny Pickett, hometown kid out of the University of Pittsburgh. You can go get your Kenny Pickett jerseys, chatsports.com/Pickett. Love that one right there. Got to love the black and gold, man. Support the black and gold. Support Kenny Pickett by getting your Chat Sports Kenny Pickett jersey at chatsports.com/Pickett. That's the link. It's going to be in the comments and the description of this video. Chris Goodwin saying, should the Steelers put the duo of Gunner and Austin both back for punt returners because of their speed, make the Steelers more dangerous at special teams? I'd love to see Austin back there to return punts. Man, I think when you look at the options on special teams, he is definitely one of the better options in terms of who you can have returning punts. Calvin Austin was an absolute steal in the draft. You take him in the 4th round. It's crazy that he fell that far. I thought he was going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. He's just so shifty, so elusive. I would love to see him returning punts. I think he would be very, very good. Keep in mind, this guy was a track star, man. This guy's fast. Like the video if you want to see Calvin Austin III return punts this year. Hit that thumbs up icon. Go down and let me know. I would definitely like to see it. I'm hitting that thumbs up icon. J. Perry YT. Can you predict every single team that makes the playoffs on the AFC side this year? Wow, that's a good question. Putting me on the spot. Shout out to Jeremy Chuck's producer for throwing this together right before the show. Appreciate the question, J. Perry YT. So I think these 4 teams are going to win the division. I mean, obviously, the AFC North is loaded, but if I had to pick a winner in terms of who's winning that division, it's got to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They just went to the Super Bowl. Tennessee Titans, I think, ultimately run away with the South. I think the Colts are going to have a disappointing year. I think Matt Ryan is a little bit washed. AFC West, I think the Broncos are going to win. I think the Chiefs are going to kind of have somewhat of a downfall this year. I think they'll still make the playoffs, but maybe not be the team that we've seen in recent years. And then I think the Buffalo Bills probably finish 14-3, something like that, win the AFC East comfortably. Let's get into my wild card predictions. I think the Dolphins sneak in along with the Chiefs, and I think the last spot comes down between the Ravens and the Steelers, and Kenny Pickett leads the Steelers to the playoffs. You heard it here first. I think the Steelers are the 7th seed. Will Pittsburgh make the playoffs? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments section. It's going to be very, very difficult. You're in a tough division, a tough conference. A lot of good teams that are going to miss the playoffs. If Kenny Pickett, though, can step in, maybe in place of Mitch Trubisky halfway through the year, lead the Steelers to the playoffs, I think we'd all love to see that. Steelers Gang says, do you honestly think this year's O-line will be better than last year's? It can't be any worse. When you look at how bad last year's was, it was just awful. You bring in Cole, you bring in Daniels, it's better. You got Chooks. I think he's improving. Dan Moore Jr., I'm a little bit nervous about him at left tackle. I feel fine about Dotson at left guard, but they got to be better than they were last season, right? And you have a young quarterback. I don't think he's going to play right away, but Kenny Pickett, that I want to be well protected when he does get his shot. And you got to protect Mitch Trubisky too. I think Mitch Trubisky, maybe a little bit mobile. I don't know if he has the mobility that Kenny Pickett has, but you got to protect your quarterbacks, man. I'm a little bit concerned about the left side, but they got to be better than last season. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, type, here we go, down in the comments section. Show your support for the Steelers. Go type, here we go, down in the comments.